We expect federal agents to handle anything. They've seen every lie, every cover-up, every impossible story the world can throw at them. But there are a few cases, very few, where even they stopped, closed the file, and refused to speak on record again. Today, we're opening 3 FBI investigations that didn't get restricted because of danger, but because the evidence inside defies the rules these agents work by. Timelines that contradict themselves, statements that don't match physics, evidence that changes depending on who examines it, files quietly updated years after they were marked closed. These aren't true crime stories. These are federal puzzles that pushed investigators past their limit cases, where the people meant to uncover the truth instead asked a single, unsettling question. What are we even looking at? When FBI analysts opened the Circleville file, the contradictions began instantly. The letters didn't just threaten people, they revealed information before anyone spoke it aloud. One woman received a warning about a route she normally took. Hours later, an incident occurred along that exact stretch of road. Yet the letter had been mailed the day before from a county she had no connection to. Even stranger, the envelope carried 2 postmarks from 2 different post offices, time-stamped minutes apart, physically impossible for a single sender. Handwriting experts tried matching the style to every suspect on record, but the patterns contradicted each other. The FBI labeled the behavior intentional misdirection, though no one could explain how the writer predicted events that hadn't happened yet. Case 2 escalated everything. In Long Island during the 1990s, anonymous letters tied to missing individuals began arriving at police departments, journalists' homes, and one victim's family. The sender described standing at specific locations, yet surveillance footage from those time windows showed empty sidewalks. DNA swabs from the stamps produced non-classifiable profiles, meaning the material didn't match any category the lab recognized. Soon after, a series of phone calls followed. The voice was distorted, but what disturbed agents most was the timing. Calls were routed through public phone booths that hadn't been operational for years. One call was traced to a booth that had been physically removed months earlier, yet routing logs showed a live signal originating from its last known location. Investigators requested maintenance records, only to learn the entire phone system in that district had been updated years before the earliest letter even arrived. 2 separate cases, 2 unrelated locations, but both exhibiting the same impossible pattern. Evidence contradicting itself, timestamps that refused to align, and communication from sources that technically no longer existed. Federal analysts requested deeper classification on both files. Within months, sections of each case were sealed, redacted, or quietly moved into restricted archives. And the unsent letters found later in an abandoned storage locker? They were dated for events that hadn't happened yet. By the time federal investigators reached the Tylenol case, they expected a clear pattern, something they could chart, categorize, or break down logically. Instead, they found an investigation that became more contradictory the deeper they went. The earliest records showed a timeline that looked straightforward. Several individuals falling ill within hours of taking store-bought medicine. But that simplicity collapsed almost immediately. The batches came from different facilities, shipped on different dates, and distributed across unrelated stores with no overlapping supply chain. An internal memo revealed an even stranger detail. One of the contaminated bottles appeared on a store shelf before the delivery truck officially arrived. According to the store's own time-stamped inventory logs, then came the interviews. Shoppers reported seeing boxes on shelves that didn't match the batch numbers recorded in the official recall notice. Some described packaging variations that didn't exist in manufacturing records. When the FBI compared those statements to store security footage, the footage didn't show anyone placing new stock on the shelves during the hours in question. It also didn't show anyone removing any. The shelves remained unchanged, but the stock numbers didn't match. The contradictions grew worse when federal labs examined packaging samples. Some bottles showed signs of being opened and resealed with tools no one could identify, no adhesive, no tampering marks, nothing traceable. The seals appeared untouched, yet interior components didn't match factory specifications. Lab technicians wrote that the samples appear altered without any physical method of alteration. When analysts cross-referenced purchase locations, they discovered several transactions logged under timestamps. The stores couldn't verify some registers, showed sales during periods when the system was powered off for nightly resets. One store even logged a purchase during a documented power outage. By the time the FBI formally restricted portions of the case, the investigation had shifted from criminal inquiry to logistical anomaly. Evidence contradicted supply chains. Packaging contradicted manufacturing records. Timelines contradicted themselves. And when a final unopened bottle was found in a storage box years later, its batch code belonged to a production run that, according to manufacturer records, never existed at all. If you thought the horror ended here, you're wrong. What other dark rituals and forbidden practices are still being performed in secret? Dive deeper into the chilling world of haunted ceremonies, banned footage, and eerie folklore that refuses to stay buried. Click on the playlist to uncover terrifying recordings, lost evidence, and disturbing stories they never wanted you to see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for weekly uploads of spine-tingling footage and dark tales that echo from the shadows. This is the Forbidden Archive, where the hidden truth and haunting evidence come to life.